From MZ Studios in Dallas, Texas, you're listening to the Tennis Revolution podcast.
USA, USA, USA. Nothing? You're not going to cheer with me?
I was going to say the soccer team won, didn't they?
Oh, no. It was the fact that I'm going to lose my bet.
You did.
Golly.
And you lost it by 2 even.
Well.
You were criticizing my over. I should have said 1.5, and I still could have. Well, I didn't win because I didn't bet either way. But
I don't gamble. I'm an NCAA coach. No, honestly, of course, the USA women's soccer team final was today. And if you haven't seen it yet,
I haven't.
Then just turn off the podcast.
Oh, well, it's already been spoiled.
We won.
Yeah.
No, I can cheer for my country no matter what.
Right. Let's not start this time talking about men because the men's draw is horrible.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Tennis Revolution podcast.
Oh, that's right. That's right, where we concern ourselves mainly with USA women's soccer.
Although I will say no one is talking about the 2 American men that are still in the tournament for good reason.
I saw a tweet today that it might have been Wimbledon itself tweeting it that said no one expected, or Tennis Sangren didn't expect to, blah, 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 and then it had a quote saying he didn't make a reservation long enough to be, this deep. And then he retweeted that and said, more than just me didn't expect it.
Maybe he can get in Tsitsipas's room or Osaka's.
By the by, that is some self-awareness for you right there. I appreciate, if there's anything I appreciate, it's self-awareness. And that's true self-awareness.
And I mean, I think that nobody can blame him for that because people are going to say, you have to have confidence in yourself that you're going to go do, you also can't spend an extra $1,000 on hotel rooms every tournament.
Yeah, I mean, if he was that confident, he'd be buying caviar and Ferraris. Right. Hey, I'm going to win, 10 million, whatever they're up to.
But I told somebody, I said, it's because it's Tennis Sangren. That's why they're not talking about it.
That's true.
And
the only indication that he's even in this tournament is how many people are hateful towards him for still being in it, and hateful to all his opponents who apparently aren't woke enough to beat him.
But even better, we are guaranteed a quarterfinalist in the men's draw.
Yes.
That's
Insanity.
Even more impressive.
Well, listen, to be fair to myself and make myself somewhat not wrong,
the men's draw has been a disaster.
Isner was a pure unknown because he was coming back from an injury.
Right.
So clearly you're 6'3", and so you can serve your way through, which he has done before, obviously.
Well, and you did pick Query to beat Team, if I recall. I think you said he's got a good chance there.
I don't know if I did or not, but don't go back and listen to last week, because I did, as far as you know.
But you said he's not going to beat... I was talking
to our fans. There's no chance you're going to go back and listen. We know that.
He's not. You said he's not going to beat 2 more people after that, which is was a valid prediction. And who could predict either of them, because they haven't won probably multiple matches in tournament this year. So I don't think no one's going to hammer you for not predicting that.
Is there any question that the big 3 are the only big there is?
Yes.
Because I don't think...
No, there's not.
I don't think there's a single digit left seed-wise in the tournament.
Well, and if there was, it wouldn't matter. It would still be the big 3.
Simona Halep would have something to say about that. She's not in the men's draw! By the way, on a technical note, if it's a little echoey on the... I don't know. Our producer said it wouldn't be echoey.
It actually does sound a little echoey.
But he said post-production it won't be.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe him. He doesn't listen to this podcast. So
we do a lot of pre- and post-production on this show. Oh, yeah.
We don't.
No.
I email a file, and then it magically appears back in my inbox. And then I do put it online and everything by myself.
Right.
That's impressive.
It is.
And convert it and put it into YouTube, onto YouTube, over to YouTube, wherever.
So what has been...
I thought I'd get more credit for all that. No. Anyway.
What has been...
By the way, I always forget to check my notes, but one note I took, and usually I look back at these notes and I'm like, ugh. Because it's like, a week later.
Right.
Or 4 days, 5 days later, and a million... that's the tricky part about a weekly podcast as opposed to a daily. Some of these fancy podcasts... get donations so they can afford to go to, Grand Slams.
But
our lazy do nothing fans can't even share the podcast.
But it's like something that was a big story 5 days ago is not. I know what you mean,
right? But something I wrote. I'm going to say it. And 5 days later, 4 days later, however many days ago later it was, I'm going to stand by it.
Okay.
I love me some David Goffin.
He's having a great week.
He is. Wait for it. The new Gasquet. I said it. He's the guy that's
just ruined all his praise right there by comparing him to him.
Listen, will he ever win a Grand Slam? Yeah, of course he will. At some point, these guys have to retire, and certainly.
Well, Gasquet never did.
No, fair enough. So he's a better version of Gasquet.
I was all on the Goffin bandwagon 2 years ago, and then he just hit a wall and
he kept getting hurt.
Yeah,
and what weird, stuff.
What I more so than Goffin, I'm amazed how nobody under 28 can win an effing Grand Slam match.
It's unbelievable.
I mean,
it's unbelievable.
Especially certainly not North American player under 28.
Well, we just suck overall, but you would think the entirety. I think people. Listen. We've been saying no, not we. I had to drag you on to this bandwagon. Your knees are scraped up from trying to stay on the ground as I was dragging you. But I've been saying weakest era for a while. I think it's becoming undeniable. It's getting ridiculous.
Look at the quarterfinals of the men's, who it's going to be, and I don't think there's going to be a player under 28. There's a couple still left, but though they're not going to win.
How about this? There's more players ranked under 28 than are under 28. That is not a true stat, but I'm just winging it. I don't know. But there's a bunch of no seeds there, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's one thing we both missed. There's as many unseeded men as unseeded women, which is incredible.
That
never happens.
But again, it's because the men suck. I'll tell you who else I like. Hugo Humbert.
Yeah, he's young. He's one of the ones that is young, but he'll lose next round.
Zero hype, though.
Right.
So he just gets to improve and whatever and not have us over-analyzing every shot he makes. And Goffin, for all things holy, man, that guy has just had a bad run of luck. Who knows how much more developed he'd be right now if he wouldn't have missed so much time. And
that Herc Cox was great, the guy who played. That is how they pronounced it, by the way. But the guy who played Djokovic was great, and he's young, too. Losing to Djokovic, I'm not going to get mad at somebody for.
No, of course not.
And
he got a set.
But Felix losing to whoever, I can't even remember now, it was painful. Kachanov lost to Bautista, that's marginal. Tsitsipas losing to an Italian clay court player.
By the way, my daughter thought they were saying sissy pants. And
why did they pronounce his name so weird?
Listen, I think she's right. After that match, I think she's right.
Well, Patrick McEnroe kept saying Tsitsipas, and I was like, it's obviously like that. You know how to say that. Tsitsi.
No, I'm American. I don't care about other. They should all convert. I'll convert to metric if the rest of the world converts to English.
And that's what I used to say about Wawrinka. I said, we'll pronounce his name right when he wins something. Well, then he did win something. Because, it was Wawrinka for 10 years. I got corrected, and then he came out and said Wawrinka.
Yeah.
And everybody shut up.
All right, so Federer is, doing what he does. Djokovic is doing what he does, and no one cares.
Right.
And Nadal's doing what he does, and no one cares. I mean, Tsonga, come on, dude.
That was pitiful.
Come on. And Tomic got fined? Tomic got fined for...
What were the details on that?
He's a punk.
Because
you mean...
He couldn't have... he didn't lose 0-0.
Right.
So I was kind of surprised when I heard that.
Well, I think it's... I don't think it's a done deal.
Because typically they only do that if someone is injured and clearly wasn't capable of playing.
That's the point of it anyway, right.
And so, I think if someone's lackluster, you can't say they're not trying. Because then there's a lot of players that could have gotten fined, especially in their last sets.
Well, he lost 6-2, 6-1, 6-4.
Yeah. 6-4 in the third, he didn't give up.
Maybe.
But look at the young players, every final set, Opelka 6-1, Kachanov 6-1. It's like they fade away at the end without a whimper.
Now, with Opelka, somebody like that, we've talked about, he's got, the tall man syndrome.
But him losing 6-1 is even worse than other people losing 6-1. he almost has to not be trying to lose 6-1.
Maybe, but you get to a fifth set and you're 400 feet tall. You know,
did you believe how much respect he was getting?
One answer?
No. They kept saying he was the only American that has a chance to be top 5. And I was like, who have you been watching?
You mean Isner's not going to? You mean in the future? No,
they said he's the only American, the most likely American to win a slam from this point forward.
Including like 3-year-olds
I assume everyone.
Right
everyone on tour. But I'm like, what about his game would make you think that?
Apparently he's really tall, I think.
He moves better than Isner, they claim. That's why.
So are they going to have a new major tournament on carpet or something we don't know about?
Rubber.
No, carpet's really fast.
Oh, there you go.
Very fast. Are they going to like play on a gym floor? That's the only thing I can think of.
Like, what results has he had that make you think that he's the next big thing, literally?
6'11" 3/4".
Oh, yeah.
That's not a score.
They were all about that, too. Like,
yeah,
he's going to be the first 7 foot, great tennis player.
No, the only chance we have is Isner, and he's fading.
I got no more use for this guy.
I don't think any.
Perfect.
Yeah, and again, we talk about the point of this podcast is American tennis. And obviously, it's within the context of the whole, and the whole is more important than just the pitiful Americans we have. But, man, I'm not going to not be a fan ever.
Right.
But, man, it's hard to give
Well, and is it possible for us to be less excited about 2 Americans in the round of 16? Because we know they've got 0 chance to win the tournament. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean...
Of course, I could say that about 13 of the 16 players that are left have 0 chance to win the tournament.
I'd say there's only 2 that have a chance, but that's just me.
Probably so.
I'm sorry. I've got no chance for Nadal to win, but then again, I've been wrong every step of the way.
And we all know that the big story of Wimbledon is Coco, but we're saving that.
Who?
Corey, sorry.
Coco Vandeweghe? I thought...
She's gone away. Her new name.
There's a new Coco. Gone away. Got it. Got it.
There you go, baby.
Finally.
You've been
waiting. A contribution to this podcast. And I won't soon.
Dynamite drop-in money. That broadcast school has really paid off.
So it almost sounds like I'm 2 for 2 on drops.
You are.
Come on now. 2 for 2. Both of those are good.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to allude to what you just did.
And both great movies, too.
Yeah. What was that?
That was
Willy
Major
Wonka,
League, wasn't it?
Chocolate Factory?
Augustus.
Yes. So, so it
I can't be excited about the men's going to week 2,
Let me tell you what I was excited about. And like you've always said, a local, Dan Evans. Come on now. That was pretty exciting playing Sousa. What?
That sounded sincere, and I was like, he can't be serious.
I'm dead serious.
But here's the thing about that.
The whole crowd was going crazy.
You cannot tell me that ESPN is not
furious
trying to sell ESPN Plus memberships, because that was during Serena and Murray, and they did not show 5 minutes of that match.
All right, so...
There's something going on there.
All right, yeah, okay. So, yes, from the standpoint of they're trying to sell suckers ESPN Plus, not tennis fans. Because if you're a real tennis fan, I mean, that's a circus and a sideshow.
Right.
I mean, first of all, I'm against mixed doubles. Number one, how do they pay the women less prize money in mixed doubles than they do the men?
No, they don't.
No, I'm kidding. Come on now.
That would be an uproar.
That would be outstanding. Then I would be out there.
No, I literally got to Susan Evans. Oh, okay, they're going to show a few minutes of this. I'm fast forwarding for like an hour and a half.
But it was a fantastic spectacle.
It was, but I kept waiting like they're going to switch over. And I'm like, did Murray and Serena not play again? Because they didn't play the night before.
Right.
And then then I looked up their score and it was done.
But you're not watching the Serena. You are only watching it because, that's peculiar. That's different. Let me take a look. Are you really going to take into, your next group lesson in doubles? Now, listen, Murray and Williams are a really solid blah, 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 blah.
Well, I'll put it this way. I would have had as much interest in it if it was an exhibition with two random players as I did with this being actually part of the tournament. Like, it didn't matter to me.
What, Dan Evans, you mean?
No, Murray and Serena. Like, they could have been playing two schmoes off the street. It wouldn't have mattered. I would want to see it for about 10 minutes, and then I'm done.
Exactly. So,
and by the way, Serena will be dropping out of that. 100% chance she's dropping out of that.
Oh, yeah.
If she wins 2 more singles matches.
Or before they even start her next singles match.
Or she'll just tank the next mixed doubles match and they'll lose.
Yeah. I don't think she'll do that.
Well, I mean, she won't. She'll try not to make it obvious. I'll put it this way. There's 0% chance she's in the 2 semifinals, singles and mixed. There's no chance.
Right, because she's not going to win in singles. So, on that note, we're still talking about men. Focus.
Well, yeah, Serena. Just kidding.
Ouch.
Just kidding.
Ouch. Now,
Sir Andy, which was such an exciting, trending topic.
Yeah. So, outside of the top 3, so clearly the Query Sandgren match means nothing to you.
I mean, it means something to me because they're American, but the winner will have 0 chance. I guess Query's beaten Djokovic before, so maybe that somehow means something, but...
well, he's going to play... The winner will play Nadal or Sousa.
And I have to say, the way Query plays... I could see him giving Nadal some trouble, but I thought that about Tsonga, and look how that went.
Yeah, but Tsonga just didn't care.
I was expecting big serves. I was expecting...
He should be fined, and I'm not kidding.
And I remember when Tsonga beat Nadal 11 years ago, I remember being shocked the way that match played out. And I thought... And then they said they hadn't played in 11 years. First time they played at a slam, and I thought, okay, this is going to be amazing.
Tsonga didn't kick over a single water bottle? Or
the first time, no. It was before Nadal did all that nonsense.
Wow.
But, yeah, it was just... I really had high hopes for that match because I thought Nadal might have a little letdown. He just beat Kyrgios. Maybe he's going to go into it a little relaxed, which he never does that, so I don't know why I thought that. But
yeah.
But Tsonga's also beaten Federer at Wimbledon. You're thinking, he's got some game that can give him trouble.
I mean, he does, but he just does. He's called... It's a career. It's a wrap already.
Oh, yeah. He's just hanging on for whatever reason.
Who knows? Who knows? But how can you not fine him if you fine, what's his name?
Yeah.
Tomic.
Well, they probably won about the same number of games. But, I mean, if Tsonga has a year where he's healthy for the entire year, at best, he's going to be maybe top 25.
Yeah. Man, I had such high hopes for him.
Well, it was showing that, and my wife saw it. She said, gosh, they look so young. And I said, yeah, he was the next big thing. Made the Australian Open final.
Yeah.
Loses to Federer, and then...
Djokovic.
Oh, that's right, Djokovic. And then he never made it back to a Grand Slam, maybe one semi. Man. I know he didn't make a final again.
What a bummer. So anyway, what I was getting at, so we've got Djokovic against Humbert, we got Federer against Berrettini. Either of those matches, I think Humbert's young and upcoming, and he can come to the net.
No,
does that matter at all?
I'm not seeing any interest
2-2-2
in either
over
of those.
Under 6-2, 6-2, 6-2 over under.
I'll say over just because it's grass. He'll get one set will be 6-4, 7-5.
How about Federer Berrettini 2-2-2 6-2, 6-2, 6-2 over under.
That's more likely in that matchup. Berrettini's young-ish, right?
Yeah,
kind of up and comer.
I don't know.
I think he is, but
yes.
I was most interested in how they did the.
Dude, he's 6'5". Good Lord.
Wow. I was most interested in how they did the court assignments. I was really waiting with bated breath to see what they did for tomorrow.
Well, of course, listen, I'm not one to cause controversy. Okay? I
can't agree
not
with that.
one to cause controversy. But it seems like,
You play ball like a girl.
in my humble opinion, it seems like the order of play every day, because we talked about that, which you, I'm sure, completely ignored. But part of it is you don't have the app. I have the app, so I can go back and look at order of play. Now, if something happened different because of, whatever.
Oh, you can go back all the previous days?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
God, just download one app one time. So, on center court day one, Djokovic, Osaka, and then Edmund. Duh.
Yeah.
He's from Great Britain, for Pete's sakes.
Which, by the way, what percentage of people that go to Wimbledon live in Great Britain?
I don't know.
I'm not sure that the majority of fans are British. So I always think that's kind of interesting.
Right.
Because they don't, at the U.S. Open, they don't really put Americans on the main court that often, like nearly as often as they do at Wimbledon.
Right. Relative to how much they suck.
Right. And the British players are worse than the American players. So,
yeah, some.
I mean, Murray, obviously, I can understand, but.
Yeah, but even the other ones, man. Come on. Anyway, so that's center court. Djokovic, Osaka, and then to me it was a men's match, but it's a wild card, but it's a men's match. And then on court 1, Halep, Zverev, and then Venus.
And that was playing Coco.
That was playing Coco, which nobody knew what that meant yet.
I was actually pretty surprised that was on court 1.
By the way, she's like the 5th or 6th or 7th youngest person.
He sent that to me.
Or something.
Well, they keep adding more qualifiers. Like, literally, she was a qualifier. She's a teenager. She's wild card. She was, in the qualifying wild card. It's like all these different, trying to make it seem like more of a big deal.
Yeah.
And it is a big deal, but.
It's a big deal, but it's not because Capriati was, 14 or something.
Yeah, and made the semis.
Well, everybody keeps saying youngest since. When you say since.
Right.
And it's not in the 18s.
Yeah.
Or the 1920s, it's over to me.
Right.
If it's within the time I graduated from high school, then it's not.
Right.
All right. So anyway, that was court 1 and 2, and then on our courts, center court 1, and then on court 2, Wawrinka, Pliskova, the 3 seed who lost, and Sissy Pants, and then Wozniacki, so 4 matches, so 2 women's, 2 men's. So that was even, I guess.
And that day is horrible now. There's nobody left on that day, so thank goodness they're all playing the same day, because that day's been bad.
Right, so then we have on center court, day 2, you've got Kerber.
Which is tradition, because she won last year.
Not this year. And then you've got Federer, Serena, and then Kiki Bertens. So that was men's, women's, or ladies and gentlemen's. So that was even. And then on court 1, Ash Barty, Joe Conta, 2 women. How dare you? Then Nadal, and then Risk. So 3 women, 1 man. How dare you? And then we had on court 2, Stevens, Querrey, Sharapova. Who? She retired at 5-0. What was that all about? It's nonsense.
No, see, I didn't even know that. They turned it away at 5-0. I thought that's because they didn't want to show her getting beaten.
No, I'm sure they'd love it. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like now. Yeah. So now, I don't think there's been a whole lot of sexism.
Are people saying there has been?
I don't know, but they always complain about
Well, and I think it's annoying to only have 3 matches on center court every day. Well, it's like you got 11, 12 hours.
4 on one of them, I think.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird. I feel like the center court's always the last one to start and the first one done. And it's kind of irritating.
Maybe because the crowd rotations, maybe that adds time to it. They don't have those on others. Maybe I'm just speculating. I don't have any clue.
Well, and they have the roof too, which they've hardly used. Well, they haven't needed to use it, but
they closed it for Dan Evans, the hero of the Brits. Did you see how he lost his match?
I did. That was painful.
My God! It was like 1 inch above the net. He hit it 2 inches below the net. Oh, my God.
And that was about the only point of that match I watched, because I was like, please end, thinking that Serena and Andy are coming up after.
A loser.
And they didn't.
Why? Anyway. So,
and see, I don't mind in Australia when they have a match like that, because it's on at 5 a.m. Like if it's, Kyrgios or whoever at the time is the top Australian. But it's kind of annoying at Wimbledon where you're at 2 p.m. and that's a good time to be watching, especially on this holiday weekend. And we're watching Evans and Sousa.
Great Britain would have something to say about that.
Like, couldn't you have saved
something? It's not their holiday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. And by the way, Middle Sunday, just play. Just play
so stupid.
Sunday. I hate it. All right, so although maybe to some degree it's for the grass to get its life together after getting beat down, maybe. I don't know. So we got the 1 and the 2, and then the 3, which is Nadal playing Sousa. Any trouble there whatsoever?
No.
Okay. And then
we don't be tired.
We don't care about the Querrey Sandgren match.
Nishikori has an easy match, which should be an easy match.
Nah, it's never easy. Kukushkin.
Yeah, he's had a great tournament.
So then we have the key match to everything. Benoit pair. playing Batista Agut, which could be a good one, to be honest with you.
That
really
actually could be.
But,
because they play so differently.
Yeah. Then we got Raonic Pella. Boring. Wait a second. Sorry. What did I say again? Oh, Raonic Pella. Boring. I don't know why I did it myself when I got the tools right here.
And who did Pella just beat? I've already forgotten. It was a long match. No, he beat
KA.
Yeah.
Kevin, the 4 seed.
Yeah, it wasn't a long match. It was kind of painful.
Great seeding, Wimbledon. Well done. That was sort of a, yeah. I mean, they got it wrong.
It's funny that no one talked to him because they moved him from 8 to 4.
They got it wrong, but did they? It was one of those things where it's like,
everybody else lost from 5 to 10.
You're coming back. Who knows? Yeah. So.
And that's the thing. They can't factor injuries into seeding, so it's like...
It's hard to get, yeah. So, Raonic Pella is going to be boring, but Goffin Verdasco could be fiery. That could be a fun one.
What I want to know is, how does Verdasco make the round of 16 in every slam, and he's never seeded?
I don't know.
Like, he's always the one who beats some seed every tournament, and then he comes the next term, he's not seeded. Like, I don't understand how that happens.
I think he's busy, well, I was going to say... It's 10 years ago, he probably did that. Never mind. I was going to say he's busy, running around taking naked pictures on tennis magazine covers or whatever. But that might have been 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about the match in the men's draw.
Well, hang on.
Because I know you watched it.
Out of all those, what do you think? Is that it? Nothing, no excitement whatsoever? I think Goffin Verdasco might be the best match out of all of them.
And they won't show any of it, probably, because they'll be showing Nadal and Federer dominate, and Djokovic.
I'm going to check Watch ESPN and see if any of those matches are like free Watch ESPN, not just...
Well, remember, that's the day they do 2 channels normally.
Right.
They do ESPN and ESPN2, and ESPN is usually just center court, which honestly, for this, I might not even want to watch center court, because it's going to be, I forget who it is, but I know Federer and Nadal are 2 of them.
Well, I will say that if ESPN is trying to... muscle fans into buying ESPN Plus, DirecTV is in cahoots with them,
right?
Because the extra channels, the 701 Plus, whatever, they had random matches that were awful on those channels. In every single match I wanted to see,
still wasn't on there either.
Nowhere.
Well, that's what I asked. Somebody said I watched Serena and Murray, and I said how, and they said 702 or whatever. I said, well, the fact that it was on there and not on ESPN tells me what I need to know.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought they might have sold it to NBC or something, and I just missed it, but I guess it just wasn't. They didn't want to air it.
I don't know. So, what match are you talking about, sir?
The match I was most excited about in the entire tournament barely happened. Kyrgios tried to give away his first round match.
Oh, wow.
And then he made it to Nadal.
That's what I'm saying about how that was so long ago. I just don't care anymore.
Well, I care a little bit about the aftermath because a lot of debate from people I know that he should have apologized. He shouldn't have done this. It was pretty interesting.
Right. So, first of all, under all circumstances except changeovers, there's nothing wrong with hitting a ball at your opponent. So, if it's within the now, if it's one of those deals where, like in doubles, and you're returning a ball that's out and it's a little too far out, and and you wail it at the return, the net guy. All right, that's getting close. But outside of that, I don't care.
When I've told everybody I've ever taught, if you're at the net and you get hit by somebody at the baseline, that's your fault. Well, whether it's 115 miles an hour or not.
Well, listen, he was headhunting for sure.
Right, and he admitted it after.
I mean, he was like not even correct form. He was just slapping it as hard as he could. And now, did he even get him, or did it come off his racket?
No, it hit his racket.
Yeah.
And what I found hilarious about that, Nadal said he didn't care that he almost got hit. He cared that it was a dangerous shot. It could have taken somebody out besides him. He didn't care if he got hit.
What an idiot.
But he said he could have taken a lines person out or a ball kid.
An idiot.
And we were like, and I was thinking like, you got mad because you almost got hit and got embarrassed. That's the only reason.
That's not, exactly. That's stupid.
And my whole thing is, if I do that, first of all, you can add up all my forehands in my career. They weren't 150 miles an hour. But if I did that to someone, I would apologize, obviously, because I'm a normal person. I don't think Kyrgios should apologize because, number one, it wouldn't have been sincere. So why bother? Like, he needs to embrace the persona, like,
Yeah, if you
Terrell Owens and Ric Flair.
Yeah, exactly. if you try to wreck a ball down the line and you don't catch it right and it goes right, you're trying to hit a passing shot, it goes right at their navel, then you can say sorry. It was a little bit of a mishit. You didn't mean to try to go at them. But even then, I'm just anti-apologizing.
Right.
Because the bottom line is you are playing a tennis match and it's in the rules. If I hit a lob winner and you fall down trying to get it, I don't apologize for hitting a lob winner and you falling down.
To me, the only acceptable apology is if you surrender the point. Because then means you actually are sorry.
Right, exactly.
And that does happen sometimes. Somebody makes a bad call or does something or whatever. But if he had apologized, I would have been more upset with him because I would have said he's not sorry about that. He was obviously trying to hit him.
Right. He's definitely not sincere. And if he was sorry, he wouldn't have been trying to take his head off in the first place.
But I did think it was funny when the guy asked him if he should have apologized, and he said, "Apologize for what? I was trying to hit him and I didn't. What's there to apologize for?"
I apologize to myself.
Apologize for missing my target. And I thought Nadal getting upset about it was pretty ridiculous.
Like staring him down?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't. You're in the heat of the battle, and that so rarely happens that you can be mad about almost physically getting hit. I don't have a problem with him staring him down. But what's the difference between that and trying to hit him?
Right.
I mean, you're kind of going outside of the bounds of normal whatever. But I don't care. I think it's great. I don't advocate it or not advocate. I'm indifferent.
Right.
I don't advocate hitting, short dip, forehand passing shots.
Yeah.
That's part of it. Do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nadal should have been upset that he came in on that ball more than almost got hit.
Oh, and now here's another scenario that I need to tweet or whatever you call it to Kyrgios. If Kyrgios is behind the baseline and maybe the volley's sailing long, he just doesn't catch it right, and then he swings out of the air before it lands.
Right.
The point's still in play.
Yeah.
It's clearly going. I mean, let's say he's got to get up on the ball.
Right.
There's no chance that it's going to drop in, and then he clocks him because the net person Nadal in this case would have kind of like
not been paying attention,
dropped his racket and said, "Oh, this point's over," and then he wrecks the ball right in his teeth. Then I could see there being some uproar. But it's a live point,
right?
And you can only win the point or lose the point. That's it. Those are your two options. And if he's willing to give up a point to try to go at your head,
right?
So be it. Duck.
Well, and to me, there's two times you can get mad about someone hitting you that I just thought of a second one as I was saying this. But one is if they've got an easy overhead right on top of the net and you happen to be at the net, let's say you even turn around and they hit you. I mean, it's still my fault that I hit a crappy lob and they got an overhead to take me out. But,
and you didn't run.
Right, but there's no reason to hit me in that scenario because I'm not even attempting to win the point. Like I've turned around, I've walked away.
I mean, if it puts you in an awkward position to try to hit in the area of court that they're not in.
Yeah.
And it's like if you just kind of.
But I mean, for a pro, like.
Yeah,
But even that, it would still be
miss overheads and volleys.
Djokovic.
Zverev.
But it would still be my fault because I gave him a crappy lob that was short and easy.
Yeah, and it's still a live ball.
But the only other one that I was going to say...
It's getting closer, I agree, but I still,
The only other one would be if I'm serving to you in doubles and I hit a serve at your partner's chest when he's at the net.
I think that happened.
And it has. And
No. In Wimbledon.
Oh, really?
I do believe it did.
That I hadn't heard.
I think it was in women's.
That's funny.
Can't remember. Who was it? Oh, man. We'll talk about it on the women's
It happened to McEnroe in a famous World Team Tennis, the only famous World Team Tennis moment ever. But to me, that would be, a little bit unethical or improper.
Maybe.
But again, it's still within the rules, so blame the rule, don't blame the person.
Well, and that happens, too, also on accident. People miss wildly on lots of shots. So, anyway, yes. So, Wika Sarah, duh, everybody lost. Every
person we were excited about showing some improvement.
Who were you excited about? I wasn't excited about
Tsitsipas catching off.
FAA, Tsitsipas. We knew Zverev, even though he's ranked 3 in the world.
But they all lost badly. That's what depresses me. If you battle to a 5-set loss, I'm okay with that.
Now, listen, I said this last week, I think, in terms of the lead-up tournaments or whatever. Grass is tricky and it's different.
Yeah.
So, I think I was talking about Feliciano Lopez doing so well, even though it wasn't, it's a 250. Right. But grass equalizes to some degree. Anytime you throw in a new surface, nobody plays quote unquote grass tennis anymore. And so it can even it out a little bit, but not that much.
And all the ones they lost to were people that should be worse on grass.
And you mean to tell me that wind didn't affect Djokovic against Team? Come on!
And Team loses first round. Yeah,
unbelievable.
And speaking of another person that gave up, I think Team lost like 8 or 9 games in a row at one point on grass. Explain to me how you do that. Against Querrey, who's not known for returning.
Or moving.
Or playing tennis anymore.
Just tall.
But, yeah, it's... What? Let me put this. Let's be more optimistic. What can save the second week for the men's draw?
The only thing that's been saving it heretofore, and that's the big three make it to the semis, and so that.
I mean, a Djokovic-Federer final would be exciting because it's been a while since they played.
Yeah, but if it falls apart, and some of them don't make it, like only Djokovic makes it, and it's like Sousa and Djokovic or whatever, then it's like, come on. That's just pitiful.
Yeah, unless the other guy wins somehow, which would never happen.
Right. So it at this stage, it's got to be the big three. It has to be. We're too far over the edge that way,
right? To
rely on a next gen or next gen.
Would you put Raonic as fourth out of everybody?
Man,
you probably just because he's made a final before. You have to.
Yeah, but. You just don't trust him in big spots, and he's older,
right?
And more injured,
and he's done nothing all year.
Yeah, so no, I don't. I mean, I think Querrey'd have a better chance. To be honest with you, I think he only comes out for grass court. He's like the South Americans back in the '80s, except he only comes out for Wimbledon.
Yeah,
or the Boodles. So anyway, nothing. The big three have to get through and destroy everybody along the way to make this a legitimate.
And then at least we can say that, okay, the gap, the race is tightening for greatest of all time again, assuming Federer doesn't win. If Federer wins, that's probably the worst case for just because it's more of the same.
Right.
If Djokovic gets 17 or Nadal gets 19, then it gets really interesting.
I mean, look, if I get 3 out of 4, and the fourth one being the French Open for Djokovic was in 40-mile-an-hour winds, I'm still claiming victory.
Yeah.
That's anyway. So... All right, well, I think we squeezed everything we could possibly squeeze out of that awful men's draw.
Yes.
So let's move on to the women, maybe soccer, when we come back.
It's time to join the revolution. Go to our website, tennisrevolutionpodcast.com, to get the latest episodes, email us your questions and comments, or give us show ideas.
Let me start with the USA chants again. What we need to do is run through that whole comedy routine we did before we started recording, but it'll be empty because we won't mean it. What did you say to me when you sat down? I forgot my...
I don't know how to finish that.
Just say it.
Oh, I forgot my draws.
And I said, oh, you're going commando?
And
don't finish the rest. Yeah. Don't finish the rest. It was not safe for
PG
podcast. It was funny, and we just don't need to talk. Well, I mean, for the most part, we don't talk, but we don't need to talk from the second we enter the studio. Radio silence until we hit record.
Yeah, it's like method acting. We just come in and
everything
and make everything fresh.
If you think this podcast is good, just think with the 5 minutes before we hit record. It's incredible.
Just press record next time I walk in. We'll just start with that, like a hidden microphone.
I don't have enough space on this SD card to wait for you to get in.
I thought you were going to say I don't have enough expertise to know how to do that.
No, well, that too. It's a mess over here. This whole situation is a mess. But we're moving to a new studio.
That's right.
Next time you hear
last
us,
show in the studio,
maybe. Unless he can't figure out, he blows everything up. But I am taking this mic you're hearing this beautiful voice on will be in the new building, and it's a fine building, I must say. So, all right. Is that enough to talk about women's?
I'm going to start on a negative note because it's such a overhyped week. Coco has beaten nobody. Let me just say that. Does that mean she's not great? No. But we don't know if she's great yet.
Right. I will unfortunately have to 100% agree with you. And you, sir, don't know anything. So for me to validate... Yeah, you're right. No, I agree 100%.
But I'm jaded by Melanie Udan, Cece Bellis, you know, all these Americans that were supposed to be amazing. And, look at how much they're doing at 16, 17.
Right.
And so I'm tempering my expectations.
And no offense to our beloved V. Will.
Right.
I mean, but you're exactly right. 100% agree. Now, is it exciting?
Definitely.
Apparently, all of the UK and all of Florida, I guess where she's from, and all of ESPN can't get enough of it. But yes, I am not like, wow, this is the second coming of Serena or any great player. Not yet.
Right. Now, I have real reservations about her against Halep because she doesn't hit any winners. And how are you going to beat Halep if you don't hit any winners?
You're not going to do it by doing what Halep does.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case.
That's what worries me. Now, Halep could mentally, have issues, and there could be that. But
my guess is the crowd will be for Coco 198.9999%.
Right.
Those two people from Romania that live in England will...
Tyriak.
Jan Tyriak. Talk about woke.
But yeah, I'm not trying to act like I'm not excited because I am, but I'm just like, let's not predict her to win the tournament yet.
Well, it's something we do not have on the men at all, and it's something that we're probably overhyping 100%, but there is, I don't know what the percentage is, 0 hope on the men, 100% hope from the commentators losing their minds.
Right.
What percentage is it in reality? I don't know, but there is hope. And that's fun.
Well, and we have other Americans too, so there's...
Yes.
But yeah, it makes me wonder what they're going to show on TV because they're definitely showing that every minute.
I can't imagine they wouldn't.
But it's also going to be going on during Federer, so that's a really tough for them.
Yeah.
That's why, if they do the 2-channel thing, that obviously helps. But
so here's what we have on Center Court Monday, Manic Monday, tomorrow, or right now if you're listening to this podcast today. Center Court, first match, Nadal, Sousa.
Half the crowd's going to be there for that.
Yep. Right. Now, although it might fill up because they're getting ready for the second match on Center Court, and that's Konta Kvitova. And
that's going to be the last British player taken out.
That's not nice. You never know, man. You never
know in the women's, but Kvitova is my pick to win the tournament right now, actually, which means she'll definitely lose.
Yes. Federer, Berrettini after that. So then...
Those could be 3 blowouts on Center Court.
I think the both men's could be. I just don't... it'll be wrong, but I don't... I think that Kvitova-Konta match will be the best match by far out of those 3. By far. And I think it'll be a good one. Or has the potential to be a good one. So then you've got on court 1, the queen herself, Serena, on court 1, not on Center Court.
I think she's only been on Center Court once in 4 matches.
Well, so what? She's 11 against Suarez Navarro. And then you've got the second match is Halep Golf. So that match will be lined up with Great Britain Kvitova, which doesn't affect our TV. Nobody cares about.
Yeah, so here they'll show that for sure.
Right. So they're hoping that Nadal takes a while and that Konta, takes a while, so they don't have to overlap. Because Halep Golf could take a while because it's Halep. But I think you're right. I think the road for golf ends on Monday.
And by the way, that doesn't mean that she's not going to be number 1 in the world.
Correct.
In 2 years.
Correct. Yeah, she's 12, dude. Relax. So then you've got, on court 1, the third match of the day following, what can follow Coco Golf? I don't know. How about Djokovic Humbert?
And that's, of the 6 matches you've listed, probably the least. I guess... it's more interesting than Nadal Sousa, I guess. But
yeah, I think so.
But it's only interesting if that guy puts up a fight.
And it's more interesting than Federer Berrettini, in my opinion. So then you've got, on court 2, you've got Ash Barty against Risk, American.
And where's the uproar for number 1 in the world being on court 2?
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised by that, to be honest.
Yeah, but she's playing Risk. I think the golf factor is too much, and then the Conta factor. I mean, she's UK,
and they want people to buy all the stadiums too. You got to have somebody in every stadium that's of interest.
So we've got so in court 2, we've got Ash Barty against Risk USA, and then we've got Pliskova and whoever this is, Mukova, and then we've got Nishikori Kukushkin. And then this is a barn burner. I think it could be. We'll never see it.
Query and Sanger in court 24.
No, they had to catch a cab to the Boodles. They're going to play it there. Court 3, Svitolina and Martic, I think, could be a good one. And then we've got my match of the men's 4th round, Goffin Verdasco. And then if you get no sleepy, you want to take a nap, Roundage Pella rounds out.
See, I would take Goffin Verdasco on court 1 or 2 compared to something, maybe not 1, but 2 for sure.
I think so.
Like you said, I mean, those are people.
Yeah, I mean, Query and Sandgren have to be on court 50 for sure.
Yeah.
And so does Strakova and Mertens.
Right.
They're both on court 12. And then,
And, I mean, there's just not, and I don't even think they'll show Query and Sangren, even though they're both American. Right. I mean, they'll go in and out of it a little bit, but I don't think they're going to show much of it.
I agree. So on the women's, so anyway, you're supposed to be talking about women. So on the women's side, the American factor with Risk Barty, and she's number 1, and this is her favorite surface, and she can do everything. So to me, we've talked about this. You've made this great point before. Sorry, hold on, I'm going to take a break. That hurt. I'm getting sick. You made this point is that you can actually, now that I think about it, it's probably sexist, but you can identify with the women's game more than you can just bang, bang, bang guys, just big shots and whatever.
With Herzog's game especially.
And for that reason, I think watching Ash Barty, she's got more of a chance to do all those things. To come in and play all style, a lot more slice. Although Evans and Souza were slicing their faces off.
Well, and I say this for once, not to be self-deprecating, but I can't relate to a point that goes 3 shots.
Right,
like a serve, and then I put away the second ball.
You never make it 3. I know it's tough. It's tough.
But
does double faulting count as 2 or 1?
But women's rallies are longer than men's rallies. Sure. Certainly at Wimbledon.
I guess you would think so.
So. Yeah, I don't think I need to look that stat up to verify. It's pretty obvious. But so for that aspect, and even somebody even said that to me this morning. They said, I can't relate to 125-mile serve. So I get that. And so that's what I mean. The women's game is much more nuanced, which I love. I loved watching Coco and Herzog.
I think that's maybe to a small degree, I agree with you, especially when you get up above 6'6". But it's not
right.
I don't think any women out there are 6'6". I mean, on the tour, of course, women are 6'6". But why do we have to run down the men? That's so sexist. So, but I think just for the Ash Barty factor, that would be, and the fact that she's playing an American, there's some interest to that, but I don't expect that to be a close one, to be honest with you.
Well, I think that because that's court 2, it'll probably start an hour or 2 before center court, so that'll probably be what they kick off the coverage with.
Maybe we'll see some of it.
And then, what ESPN loves to do is sort of like they did in the election when, whoever you're wanting to win is ahead or even, you'll show it, and then as soon as somebody pulls away that you don't want, they go away.
2 hours earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that match will be over before the center court starts.
Right.
But like if Barty's up 6-1, 3-1, they'll go to something else.
Yeah.
If Risk makes it interesting, they'll keep it there. They don't like to show their fan favorites lose, badly, which is understandable.
So as we mentioned at the French, these seeds are dropping like flies on the women's side again. And I mentioned that we may be slipping towards too much variety.
Yeah. Well, there's more top-seeded men out than women out. But for the women, it's every tournament.
Barely, though.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I think it's like 6-5. But like you said, in the women's, it's a little bit more of people were excited about up and coming. When the men, it's just sort of random guys that made it through.
Yeah. So, Halep really has a golden opportunity. The 2 seed being gone. But I don't see... the Konta Kvitova match, I think, would be probably competitively, maybe.
Right.
The best one.
And who's Serena playing?
Navarro. Suarez Navarro.
Yeah. So that would be a really bad loss for her.
Yeah. Now, Serena has a way of making matches close for some reason. But to me, it's not a close match if you lose the first set 6-4 and then win 1-1.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Serena kind of gets out there and gets her life together, and then, oh yeah, that's right, I'm way better than everyone.
Yeah, the first set is always tumultuous.
Somebody mentioned, I think it was Mary Jo Fernandez or something, said she should go out and play a set before she comes out to the court for her first match.
One thing that she said similar to that. She said the longer the match goes, the better for Serena. I don't agree with that. Well, I know what she's saying.
Yeah, not if it's a 7-6, 6-7, 7-6 long match.
Right, and not in the context of a tournament.
Right.
Because you still got to make it, 14 days.
But she means she needs the time to get her life together and warm up and get motivated.
But I think we've passed the era of Serena where she gets better as the tournament goes on.
Agreed.
Like, look at the last 6, 7, that has not been the case.
Right.
She's now in the Sharapova era where every match she goes in with a different...
You anti-mother? Unbelievable.
I had somebody yell out in a drill recently. They said, I have children. I wouldn't lie about that line call. Are you calling me a liar? It was hilarious. We were laughing. It was hilarious. Of course, a lot of people didn't get it, but a lot of us were laughing. It was so funny.
Why don't they listen to this podcast?
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess if they don't like you on the court, they won't listen to the podcast. I know I don't.
On or off.
Yeah. So,
But Halep at golf is the only must-watch match, in my opinion.
Well, Halep golf, I think Konta Kvitova for number one. That's your pick, but also Konta has just been rounding into form lately.
Yeah, she beat Sloane Stephens again,
and there are nerves. Obviously, your home slam adds to that tremendously, but at the same time, to have an entire stadium, cheering for you, except for the 3 people from the country of whoever you happen to be playing. You can't underestimate the lift that can give you.
Well, and remember our old criteria for a great slam.
Yours, but yeah.
Yes, you have you agreed. You have the local...
I wasn't listening.
You have the local favorite doing well. You have the young up-and-comer, doing well. I think the third one was just big names making it deep in the tournament. And we've got all 3 of those going into
Not
Monday.
as many big names as we should. Right. But
and not as many hometown favorites either.
And by the by, well, that's never going to happen in the UK.
No,
or in the men in the US,
or the French,
or anywhere. What was I going to say? Golly! Ash Barty.
Yes,
she seems to have a handle on the pressure, or at least she says she does. Whereas we watch Osaka, disaster. Just a disaster. You can see it from the court to the press conference to, she had to leave the press conference because she was about to break down, which I'm not making fun of her. I'm just saying that's where she's at. She was able to overcome all that to get to number 1 in the world, to win 2 Grand Slams, or 2 majors. And it doesn't seem, watching, at least on court, watching Ash Barty, that's not bad. That she doesn't suffer from that same issue, and she's got one under her belt on a surface she hates, i.e. the French, and Wimbledon is Ash Barty's favorite surface. So I'm not going to crown her yet because they certainly crowned Osaka, and now they're doing the same thing with Ash Barty. Oh, she's going to be around for a long time.
Well, and I did that too with Osaka, which I'm not usually one that does that.
Osaka certainly might be around for a long time.
Right.
On the planet.
You don't think she's staying at the top? And by at the top, I mean top 5.
I think she lives a pretty healthy lifestyle. She probably eats a lot of fish. It's good omega-3s. But how can you, and you're losing in first rounds, the pressure is affecting her. Now, I don't know. Maybe her dog got hit by a bus. I don't know. If I have to remind you, I don't know these people.
And by the way, didn't we just jinx Keys saying she hadn't lost early in a tournament in like the last 10 or 12, and then she loses early? But I'm saying, like, you look at all the great players, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Serena, they never lose in a first round or second round, ever. That's just like the one thing they don't do.
Outside of retiring.
Yeah.
I don't mean career, but...
Well, even then, I don't think Nadal, Djokovic, Federer ever
probably not
have. But like, I mean, they have, but like 1 out of 50. And that's been consistently the problem with the women for the last 10, 12 years. Been Halep loses the first round. Wozniacki loses the first round. Kerber.
If one were to gamble, and I am not saying I endorse it, if one were to gamble, then yes, taking the odds on Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, where it's like you got to bet $50 to win $1. Hey, win $1.
Right.
It's worth it. I don't know how odds work, but
no, that's probably about right.
I don't know if it's 50 to 1 or 1 to 5, whatever it is, but yeah, it's not going to be a tough dollar. I mean, risking a lot.
Even when Federer lost that set, in the second round, that was like crazy for him to even lose a set.
Right.
I think they said it was only the second time he lost a set in the second round.
Well, that's what happens when you when you play first set so close, no matter what.
Right.
And then win 1-1. Every now and again, somebody will clip one from you.
Well, what I was going to say about Osaka, and you would know this more than me, but
sure, definitely
everything.
Yep.
But how can she have confidence? And I don't mean because she's losing. But, I mean, since she's dropped her coach, she hasn't won any meaningful match whatsoever. So doesn't she have to be thinking in the back of her mind,
oops,
I was winning because of him, and now I can't win without him?
I'm sure she's thinking a lot of things.
Just like if I play doubles with someone and we win all the time, and then I go play with someone else and we lose, well, I'm going to say, okay, well, when I play with this guy, I win all the time. Well, obviously, he's the reason I win.
When you were winning, it was never you. And when you lose, it's certainly you.
Even in singles, I don't get the credit.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean... But you know what, though? I mean, you don't... Well, to be fair, this is still different no matter what. But she's had pressure throughout her career at various levels. When you're 12 and 14s and, 18s... Yeah, it's not the same as Wimbledon, first round pressure.
Right.
And on, the center court... But neither are you. You're not that player yet either. You're still 16.
Right.
And you're trying to be number one in, where was she, in Florida? I mean, I know she's the first whatever, but she's in Florida. Wherever she was at, she's still competing and trying to do things, and there's pressure. So it's not the first time she's felt these things and questioned, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Now, again, in case you missed it, I don't know any of these people. Not any of them.
Yeah.
Not even our one-time follower, Yanina Wickmeyer. I don't know her. She's gone. She lost, by the way.
She did win a first round, though.
She did. Yeah. But this is not the first time she's dealt with us, I'm sure of it. Now, of course, this level, magnifies that, tenfold or more. But it's simply an outgrowth of, hey... It's funny. People gave her so much credit for handling the Serena debacle. That might have helped her, man. I mean, she might have been just like, wow, the spotlight's off me. She's over there acting like an idiot, and I can just hit winners. Thank goodness.
Well, I think that's potentially could help a lot of these women in the draw with all this Coco, pandemonium, is that nobody's paying attention to them.
Right. Or at least they have that sense, which is good. And that's all that matters.
And I'm not trying to act like Osaka's coach is the reason she won. I have no idea how
No, you're like, where is her head at, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. But I think that's, you're saying that, and like it's the main thing she's thinking about. No, I think that's part of all the things she's questioning, all of it. Like, should I even be playing this sport?
Right.
And I'm not joking.
That's really what she looks like when she's playing.
It's a tough place to be for her, and it's terrible. And to be honest with you, hey, if you're out there, Osaka, call me. Call in. I can help you. Maybe.
Yeah, it almost looks like she just needs a break. Like, not play the next 3-4 weeks, play a week or two before the Open. But, I mean, imagine if she flames it on the Open. I mean, she's going to drop out of the top 5 that quickly.
Yeah.
After being from number 1 to out of the top 5.
Tough. It's, you got to be a shark out there, man. It's tough business. Winning's the only thing that matters. That makes it a tough business.
Yeah, it's... Well, and we always, everybody says this, the cliche, there's nowhere to go but down. Once you're up there, You know, it's harder to defend those points.
Except Federer and Djokovic and Nadal.
Yeah, Federer's as good at 37, as we always say.
It's incredible.
But
he must be, man, I wish we had a sponsor, like one of those, like for hymns or whatever. All those kind of, if we had one of those sponsors, that'd be so great because we'd have that drop for Federer all the time.
I would be curious.
Well, Kyrgios thinks they're doping, so.
Who do you think, who do you think is the odds-on favorite right now for the women?
I mean, I still think it's Ash Barty.
I mean, that would make sense.
I think on grass, if it's her favorite surface, plus she can play all those styles, and I don't think she's afraid of anybody. So if she wins against Risk and Williams wins, she's not worried about Serena. She'll say, "Oh, it's such an honor to play. She's the GOAT," and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's fine, but you're still going to beat her.
So they've got Barty as number 1. You were right. Pliskova, a little surprised by that.
Well, they heard you pick that.
And then Serena and Kvitova.
Halep, not there yet.
Halep is 5th.
Wee.
Coco is 8th.
Wow.
Which I'm a little surprised she's not better than
remember, what is their job? To get into your head, and
right.
Not you, because you're an expert, but get into the betting public's head and say, wow, all this hype. Because if nobody would have said the word Coco, she wouldn't be that high.
Right. And by the way, most popular bet, Coco. Of all
Suckers.
And she started 27-1. Now she's 25-1. So,
wow.
I mean, even 25-1, that's a pretty big payoff if you win. But again, I mean, I would say it's even less likely for her to win the tournament than 25-1.
So, hey, listen, if I give you $10, can you... Kidding.
Fly over to England.
No, to Vegas.
There you go.
So anyway.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. So...
let me just look at the men's.
What about you? Well, what about you? You think Ash Barty as well?
I'm taking I mean...
Oh, you got Kvitova.
I said Kvitova, but I haven't analyzed the draw that closely to really see.
Yeah, apparently forgot to wear them.
So men's, we already know the top 3. We don't even need to say those.
Yeah, I'm Djokovic all the way, which...
So they do have Raonic 4th.
Loser. That just shows you who's left.
Query 5th.
That
and
really
Query
shows you who's
60-1. You bet $10, you can win $600.
Wow.
And Djokovic, you actually make less than you bet if you bet on him.
Wow. That's unreal.
And then Tennis Sangren, Kukushkin and Sangren, 1,000-1.
I mean, it'd be fun just to bet $1. It's probably
right.
minimum.
I mean, but that's how sad and by the way, most popular bet is still Djokovic, even though you're making less money than you bet.
Yeah.
It's still the most popular bet. And that's the thing, like, that's what I hate about men's tennis. I know this is a women's segment, but
typical.
It's nothing. There's no drama whatsoever because it's not even happened once where somebody crazy has won.
Right.
Like, not once in the last 15 years. When Del Potro and Cilic, Wawrinka won, they were top 5 or 6 seeds.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it was still a surprise, but...
We've had some... had some cuckoo birds get to the final, but they've had no chance.
Right.
No chance.
And that's why I don't want that to happen here. Like you said, if it's a Djokovic, Sousa final, it's like, that would be awful. I mean, that would be the worst. Or even last year, Djokovic Anderson. I mean, look how bad that was.
Benoit Paire, that's my pick.
I mean...
It's not my pick.
But he is someone that if he was just on...
If he... Did you ever see that movie, 50 First Dates?
I know a lot about it, but I've actually never seen it.
Okay, well, spoiler alert. It came out in the 70s, I think. No, it was like 90s or something. Right. I don't know when it was. But it was Adam Sandler and what's her name?
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, from Firestarter.
Yeah.
that was E.T.
and Firestarter.
That was from the 80s, by the way. So Drew Barrymore, and she had been in a car accident and had this type of amnesia where...
realistic storyline.
Yeah. So where you only remember what's happened before... the wreck.
Right.
And so each day, like the next day, you'd have your day, but then you'd forget and you'd be back to square one. And if Benoit Paire had that, and each match he played, he woke up the next morning and forgot who he played. Oh, I'm playing this guy in the first round. And he thought every match was the first round. Yes, he could win it. Seriously.
I thought you were going to say the comparison you were going to use was... when the person shows up to play him, they have no idea what they're going to get.
Oh,
because he is a different player every match.
Oh,
then one of the commentators said, "It's pretty amazing that someone can be in the round of 16 at Wimbledon that has a horrible forehand." And I thought that was really funny. But somebody said, oh, he's actually been hitting it at a mediocre to average level this tournament.
Like he's up.
Right.
That's fantastic.
But I mean, I guess he's just controlling the pace of the points, so they're not able to just attack his forehand every time. And everybody's so ingrained to attacking the backhand, too.
Well, it's not horrible to a level of horrible.
It's not like he misses it every time.
So, anyway.
But anyway, back to the positive of Coco. It's really cool to have people talking about tennis that don't normally talk about tennis. I mean, that's always the best benefit of something like this. Because Serena wins, nobody's going to talk about it. Federer wins, nobody's going to talk about it. But if she keeps going, it's going to stay in the mainstream.
And again, that's the only thing that can get the men's, going after it. Because we're on the precipice. As soon as the big three retire, we're going to need a bunch of Coco Gauffs to get crazy and have these crazy stories. Otherwise, we're in big trouble. At least on the women's side, that's an added piece to the whole puzzle. So no chance for her to win. Do you think she's going to get past Halep?
I don't.
I don't either. Badly.
Yeah, unfortunately. Again, it's just a style matchup. They play similarly, but Halep's going to be more consistent. She's going to be just more offensive also. Every time I've seen Coco, every time anybody's seen Coco, 3 matches, she plays a consistent defensive game, and she needed errors. She really needed errors to win, and had Herzog not imploded, she wouldn't have won that match.
Yeah, no kidding.
She has some big serves occasionally. If her serve was just super, super on, I could maybe see her winning.
She's got, she's 15, so you're not.
And she's hitting 117, 115 at 15.
Yeah, you're not. It's not like you're crushing her. Like this is it. This is all she is.
And she's playing the number 7 in the world.
Yeah,
which is really better than that.
Right.
I do think that, like you said, it's a potential Halep potentially, because she even said after her last match, that's the best match I've played all year. Well, that's like setting yourself up for failure the next round.
Right.
So that part does concern me.
All right. So on the bottom half, on the top half, I've got Barty, as I mentioned. And I'm trying to steer this back to women because you're such a sexist. So on the top half, I've got Barty. And that means including getting past Williams, including getting past Kvitova or Konta.
I would love to see her play Serena.
And then on the bottom half, you're picking Pliskova, so... No,
Kvitova was my...
Oh, that's right.
Pliskova's who they picked.
Oh, yeah. So Halep, Pliskova are the top 2 seeds, and then Svitolina's the 8. I mean, top 2 as in left, the 3 and the 7, and then Svitolina's the 8.
I can understand why Pliskova is the 2nd or 3rd favorite.
You're not picking Yastremska?
She's actually a teenager, but again, she's from another country, so nobody talks about her. But she's a teen. There's a couple teenagers in there that could also make a run. She's just a little more traditional path. She's been on the tour all year and getting better. But Pliskova, they're saying, is the best player not to have won a major at this point. I would say Svitolina's in that category too, but so hopefully one of them makes the final. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't like the way Pliskova plays. I don't like watching her that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind it. It's still tennis. But I think Halep, is going to get through. That's my pick.
That whole half?
Bottom half, and then...
Barty and Halep?
Barty and Halep.
That would be good.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. Contrasting styles.
Well, and we joke, and it would be 2 legitimate top-ranked players in the final, which the opposite of the problem the women have. That's what they need. The men have that too much of that.
Except this tournament.
Right.
It's pitiful. So, all right. Have we given exactly equal time to the men and women?
Well, we didn't give equal time to the doubles. We'll talk about the doubles draws next. The good thing is Murray lost in men's doubles, so we don't have to hear anything about men's doubles anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the Bryans are playing.
Who? They are. I don't know where they're at.
They hadn't shown any of them.
Listen, I just don't care about doubles. I'm sorry.
Well, and they play 3 out of 5, which is so dumb.
Because nobody cares. Get rid of doubles.
It's to fill up court space is honestly the only reason, I think. It's to sell more tickets, fill up more stadiums.
At this point, yeah. In smaller tournaments, it's the opposite. It's a hassle.
Yeah.
But you have, they should treat it like the back draw. If it rains, they just cancel doubles. Just get rid of it.
And the amount of money Murray and Serena would win if they won is literally like me handing you $10. It's nothing to them. They don't. It means nothing.
Yeah.
So that part of it's a joke. They really should be getting bonus money for just drawing attention to that draw.
Pay that man his money.
Yeah, I go back and forth. First of all, mixed doubles, I'm done. Please get rid of it everywhere. Now, we'll do some mixed double stuff in practice sometimes.
Right.
Fun.
Yeah.
Which tells you, maybe it shouldn't be in the Grand Slam, rotation. And it's nowhere else.
It should be like that Legends doubles thing. Just have it for fun. Make it an exhibition. And like I said, put Murray and Serena against, Barty and Kyrgios and let it be an exhibition match.
The argument that I could take is that back in the olden days when the money wasn't huge and everybody played everything, right. It's a chance for somebody who's top 10 in the world who's not making, hundreds of millions of dollars like they are now. It's a chance for them to rake in some extra dough playing, men's and mixed or women's and mixed. And at least it sort of justified itself because, you're able to keep a top 15 player or whatever really, going, so to speak. And I don't know how accurate all that is that I just said, but it seems like that was more of a reason than it is now because nobody plays in any of it.
I will say I do, believe it or not, get a fair amount of texts saying like, hey, where can I watch doubles at Wimbledon? And
regular double, not mixed. You mean regular doubles?
Yeah, I mean, they don't specify, but I assume they mean regular.
They definitely don't mean mixed.
But
get rid of it.
But, and then as far as the attendance to the actual matches at the tournament itself, they must get a decent turnout. But in terms of TV, they're getting zero, like literally zero.
Well, the Bryan brothers are a draw for sure, but they've got a unique situation. I mean, they're the best ever.
Right.
And they bring a level of enthusiasm and showmanship on the court that makes it appealing. Almost everyone else is just out there slugging along playing doubles.
Right.
And so at the U.S. Open, I remember, the court they were on was packed.
Well, they've almost got to make it where every seed is required to play one doubles event, either doubles or mixed. You choose.
Somehow.
And then, but again, how are you going to do that? I mean, you can't. That would have to be part of some big agreement, which would never happen.
Right.
But because then people are going to say, I didn't get a chance to see Federer in singles yesterday, but he's playing doubles today with somebody. So, of course, if Federer's on the doubles court, people are going to see it just because it's Federer. Or even if it's, Halep or Wozniacki, you maybe get some attention.
Well, there is something to be said for the fact that you're watching one of the greatest players in the history of the game, and they may not be the greatest quote-unquote doubles player,
right,
but clearly their skills lend themselves to being an elite doubles player just because they can do some of the things. But at the same time, somebody like Federer, who's got an all-court game, he very well could be the greatest doubles player of all time. But as it stands, the Bryan brothers are, and there's no chance that's the case. There's no chance that's the case.
Well, and I'm 100% serious when I say this. If you said that there's a doubles match of badminton with Federer and, Serena against Venus and Nadal, that stadium's going to be full. And it's not because people care about badminton. So that's
a shot at badminton?
No. I'm saying that
I support all racket sports.
I'm saying that people are going for the people that are playing it, not because it's doubles.
Except paddle tennis.
Which is kind of popular in Dallas, unfortunately.
I don't know. Well, if it is, get me somebody on this podcast if you know anybody so we can do an interview, because I don't even know what it is.
I really don't either. But it just makes me sad that doubles isn't bigger, but at the same time, I don't want to watch it.
I do want to watch doubles in and of itself. I just don't want to watch the awful players that are playing it.
That's what I mean.
And so no, don't give me Laver Cup. Nobody cares. Don't give me Hopman Cup. Nobody cares. Certainly don't give me World Team Tennis. Really, nobody cares. If somebody like Indian Wells, who seems to do a good job, if they could just put together some kind of agreement with, whatever, that everybody got double the points or something, where you get additional bonus points for singles or something.
Well, I was going to say, what if they next year said equal prize money, singles, doubles, mixed? Do you think that makes any difference? Like the winning team in mixed gets $3 million.
It would for the 25th through 50th player who...
It's not going to change Federer, Serena's preparation.
No. But they're already multi-hundred millionaires.
That's what I mean. They don't need to.
But if they started and they were 110 in the world and that was the thing, then maybe.
Right.
Then maybe.
Yeah. Because, then you're talking about someone mathematically could win $6 million in one tournament.
I'm telling you right now, if Federer came on and said, I'm about to wrap up my singles career and Djokovic might clip me in Grand Slams, but I tell you who won't. That's the Bryan brothers. I'm coming for you in doubles. And him and Wawrinka are somebody he's played, he's got a relationship with because they won gold. And he played doubles only?
Yeah.
Come on, son. That would be amazing. And if he was taking it seriously like that and was training and all the rest of it, doubles would skyrocket in popularity. Because again, and we've said this before, everybody that watches tennis plays doubles, not singles. Almost everybody.
Right. Well, and to me, you can't expect those top players to play both because, like Serena had to play mixed doubles the other night after she played single, and then Monday she's gonna have to play 2 matches, I'm sure. So it's prohibitive or counterintuitive to your singles to be playing more tennis, during the week, especially as it gets later in the tournament. If you have a rain delay, it doesn't make sense. They almost have to do it like we've talked about separately, which but then I don't know that any big players have played either.
Well, and let me tell you something else. Let me tell you why doubles isn't another reason the Bryan brothers are more popular than other doubles and why women's doubles won't be as popular. Because they play one up, one back. And that's the most boring version of doubles of all time. I don't like watching it live when I'm coaching it. I don't like watching it on TV. The Bryan brothers are bouncing around, and they're at the net as much as possible. Now, you're playing against someone with a big serve. You're pushed back. I get it. It's tough. It's not like it was in the 80s where those serves are coming in and you just block it back and float right on in. It's a different game. But yeah, that's one of the untold stories of kind of a downfall in tennis, and that's that no one cares about doubles.
Well, and I think they'd have a better chance if they made doubles like the first 4 days of the tournament. Just play the whole draw first 4 days. Pro sets, 2 rounds a day or whatever. And the problem with that is you're still talking about multiple matches in a day, which if somebody plays a 5-set singles match, they're not going to want to go out there and do doubles. And plus, you probably don't have the court space either on the first 4 days.
Yeah.
But I just think that...
it'd be tough, but you could tweak it with the off day in a Grand Slam.
Right. Or make it the Saturday, Sunday before the Slam, all the way to the semis or something.
Yeah, and if you're at the Boodles, you just can't play.
There's got to be a way to do it. And who knows? Maybe we don't know. Maybe these slams...
Saving doubles is a great topic, and we shall save it for when there's no tennis. But anything else on the women? Of course not. You don't care.
I think Barty's locked in at number 1, right? No matter what happens at this point.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Year-end's the only thing I care about.
Right. Well, it's nice to have on your resume that you got to number 1.
Yeah.
But besides that.
Yeah, but the person you took it from can't.
And plus, I think the ones
of the first round
in contention have already been number 1, so they don't care.
Yeah.
But no, we as usual, we are way more excited for the women week 2 than the men.
Maybe. Again, I will say it's leaning the other way because there's so much carnage.
And if it's Djokovic, Federer, even Nadal, Djokovic on grass is a little bit unusual. So, the final can be interesting no matter what. And in the context of the greatest of all time, it can be interesting.
Yeah, the only way it won't be if it's a big 3 and a nobody.
Right. And the nobody gets crushed, which is what will happen.
Sure.
If Querrey loses in 5 sets to Djokovic, yeah, maybe that's great, but it's still Djokovic won Wimbledon. That's what we all thought was going to happen.
Right. So, all right. No corner? Good.
No.
I'm going to stop asking that because clearly you don't do anything for the show.
The whole show's become a corner. You're giving me so much airtime now.
I know. It's sickening. I want to go back to corner, just one corner. All right, so we're growing. We are growing, and I think this new studio we're going to be in won't make one bit of difference because nobody cares. They're just going to hear us no matter what. They don't know where we're broadcasting from. But what will make a difference is you spreading the word. And you start. I taught Corey something today.
Uh-oh.
I taught him how to share the link to our podcast on the podcast app. So he's going to be able to do that. Facebook, not on Twitter, of course, because he refuses to get with the program. But so anyway, so on Twitter, of course, you can follow us at Tennis Rev Pod. You'll get some random tweets like I just mentioned if he stumbles through and doesn't actually send you nude pics of himself on accident. You never know. You never know.
I don't want the numbers to go up that much.
I do. What? And so, so follow us at Tennis Rev Pod. And then on Instagram, we're back to 115. I don't know what, I just don't understand. So 115, we're back up to our all-time high on Instagram at Tennis Revolution Pod on Instagram. And follow us there for no reason whatsoever. It's kind of fun. Maybe one day we'll put something out. I just don't know. All right, so week 1 in the books, week 2 to come. We're going to watch and have fun, and hopefully everything will turn out the way we want. Some, tennis is good again. 2 Americans winning, Coco and Query. Oh, not the whole thing. Just
oh yeah, no, the whole thing.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to make a $10 bet and win $1 million. Those 2 win.
So that's not happening.
No,
neither of the things you betting nor whatever. So
right, or either of them winning,
or either. Of them. I don't think so. Anyway. So Query's got.
We are rooting for Coco. Let me just clarify. I would love for her to win.
Oh, the whole thing,
right?
And Tennis Sanger. No, I'm kidding.
His Americanism doesn't trump his no pun intended. Trump his racial views.
No, I don't care. Once again, I don't care unless they're murdering children. I don't care what they think.
Right.
I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
All I care about is their tennis, and I don't mean that. No pun intended there either.
Yeah.
So no, I don't care about any of it.
And tennis with him isn't exciting. Either of them.
True.
But one of them's got to win. We'll have a quarterfinalist no matter what.
The best thing about Tennis Sanger winning is when he takes shots of himself at himself for being, nobody thinking he can win, including himself.
Yeah.
So that's all. Any level of self-awareness in this game, I love.
Yes.
Sorely lacking this day and age is self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that is it. And until next time, thanks for joining the revolution.
Bye, guys.
You had your chance, Janina.